What happens to a nation built on dreams when half its people remain chained by inequality? In this video, we'll explore the stark futures that could unfold for America if equality for Black Americans stays just out of reach, paths of division, decline, and unexpected turns that might redefine everything we know. The story begins in the shadows of history, where promises whispered in founding documents echoed hollow for millions. Back then, as the ink dried on declarations of liberty, Black lives were tallied as fractions, their labor fueling an empire while their rights withered unseen. Fast forward through storms of civil war and Reconstruction, where fleeting glimpses of freedom teased the horizon, only to fade under the weight of Jim Crow's iron grip. Each chapter built suspense, leaving questions hanging. Would the next page bring justice or more chains disguised as progress? Now stand at today's crossroads, where the air hums with tension. Black communities navigate streets lined with opportunity for some, traps for others. Education systems promise ladders, but deliver rungs worn thin by underfunding in neighborhoods scarred by redlining's legacy. Health disparities loom like gathering clouds, higher rates of illness, shorter lives, all tied to systemic neglect. Economic gaps widen, with wealth accumulation stalled by barriers invisible yet unbreakable. And in the justice system, sentences stretch longer, encounters turn fatal more often, breeding distrust that simmers just below the surface. What if this unease boils over? The narrative pauses here, building toward the unknown. Consider one possible future, a divided America, fractured along lines drawn centuries ago. Without equality, protests swell into unrelenting waves, eroding public faith in institutions. Cities become battlegrounds, not of arms, but of boycotts and withdrawals. Black talent fleeing to friendlier shores, draining innovation from tech hubs and cultural centers. Businesses falter as consumer bases splinter. Markets contract under the strain of unrest. Politicians exploit the rifts, crafting policies that deepen divides rather than heal them. Suspense mounts as alliances form and break. Will international allies pull back, viewing America as unstable? Or will internal conflicts spark migrations, reshaping demographics in ways that alter power forever? In this tale, economic stagnation takes center stage. Black Americans, comprising a vital workforce, face persistent wage gaps and job discrimination, stifling growth for all. Studies show that closing the racial wealth divide could add trillions to the GDP, but without it, recession lingers like a persistent fog. Industries reliant on diverse ideas, entertainment, sports, invention, lose their edge as creativity starves in unequal soil. The plot thickens, corporate leaders scramble, but half-hearted reforms fail, leading to talent wars where global competitors poach the overlooked. America's edge dulls, and the world watches, wondering if the giant will stumble. Social fabric unravels next, thread by thread. Families strained by inequality pass down cycles of poverty, where children in under-resourced schools dream smaller, achieve less. Mental health crises escalate, unspoken burdens carried in silence. Communities isolate, trust erodes between groups, fostering echo chambers that amplify extremes. Suspense builds in everyday scenes. A routine traffic stop escalates into national headlines, reigniting debates that polarize further. Cultural contributions from Black artists, musicians, and thinkers diminish under pressure, leaving a nation culturally impoverished, its identity hollowed out. Yet the story holds darker twists. Without equality, health inequities persist, turning pandemics into disproportionate disasters. Black populations suffer higher mortality, straining healthcare systems already buckling. Environmental injustices compound this. Toxic sites clustered in marginalized areas, breeding long-term ailments that sap productivity. The narrative edges toward crisis. Will these burdens trigger widespread migration, emptying urban cores and overwhelming suburbs, or lead to policy backlashes that entrench segregation anew? Politically, the landscape shifts unpredictably. Voter suppression tactics evolve, disenfranchising voices that could steer change. Gerrymandering carves maps favoring the status quo, while apathy spreads among the disillusioned. Extremist groups gain ground, feeding on resentment from all sides. International standing wanes as human rights critiques mount. Aid packages dry up, alliances fray. The suspense peaks. Could this lead to constitutional crises where amendments falter and rights regress, or spark a backlash movement that finally tips the scales? But at what cost? Education's role adds layers to the plot. Schools in Black majority districts crumble, curricula stripped of truthful history, perpetuating ignorance. Innovation stalls as diverse perspectives go unheard in classrooms and boardrooms. The future workforce arrives unprepared, widening global competitiveness gaps. Tension rises. Will tech giants relocate abroad, seeking equitable talent pools? Or will domestic unrest force emergency reforms too late to matter? Cultural erosion creeps in subtly. Without full inclusion, Black influences in music, fashion, literature fade from mainstream, leaving a homogenized society. Holidays and heroes lose meaning, national pride fractures. The story questions how long before this void invites foreign cultural dominance, reshaping American identity. Amid these shadows, glimmers of alternative paths emerge, but only if equality breaks through. Yet the tale warns, delay invites peril. Economic models predict trillions lost annually to inequality's drag. Social scientists forecast heightened conflicts, reduced lifespans, fragmented communities. Historians draw parallels to empires fallen from internal rot. As the narrative closes, reflect on the stakes. America without equality risks becoming a cautionary epic, a land of unfulfilled potential, where divisions deepen and dreams defer indefinitely. The question lingers, which chapter comes next? The answer rests in actions taken today, before the story writes itself into tragedy.